Week 5 of the fantasy football season, and here's a few tight ends. I have as sleeper options this week. The first guy, Tyler Conklin of the New York Jets. Tyler Conklin, he's had good rapport with Zach Wilson over the last few seasons here, and he's actually getting targets and putting up some fantasy points. We saw last season he had a few decent games, and so far this year, he's got at least 2 games with 9 or more fantasy points. So week 2 with Dallas, 5 catches, 50 yards. Week 3 versus the Pats, 3 catches, 26 yards. And week 4 versus Kansas City, 4 catches, 58 yards. So this week, a good matchup for Tyler Conklin at the Denver Broncos that give up the 7th most fantasy points to tight ends on the season. So right now, I know Zach Wilson isn't a good quarterback, but if there's been one consistent target in the Zach Wilson era here with the New York Jets, it's been Tyler Conklin. And like I said, the last couple games, he's getting the targets, 11 in the last 2 games, and 9 or more fantasy points in 2 out of 4 games this season. So this week here, in a good matchup, in a game where I think the Jets actually could move the football a little bit at Denver, where they can't stop anyone. Justin Fields just went off at 300 yards versus them, and he's never been a big-time passer like that. So right here, with a good matchup, and him and Zach Wilson on the same page since last season, I have Tyler Conklin as a sleeper this week, and he's out there in 96% of fantasy leagues. The next sleeper is Durham Smythe of the Miami Dolphins. So Durham Smythe, this season, he's put up some mediocre numbers. And this Dolphin team, they have so many weapons on this offense. And a guy like Smythe could be under the radar and possibly even steal some goal line touchdowns, where defenses are lined up on Tyreek Hill and Waddle all their attention. So the last few games here for Smythe, it's been up and down. Week 2 in New England, 3 catches, 23 yards. Week 3 versus Denver, a catch, 15 yards. And then last week at Buffalo, his best game of the season, 4 catches, 41 yards. So right now, this Giant team, their defense isn't all that great. We saw Noah Fant last week go over 60 yards, even though I know he had a big reception for over 50 yards in that game. But like I'm saying, their linebacker crew really isn't that good. They give up the 15th most fantasy points to tight ends on the season. And right here, all the coverage is going to go towards Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So I think Durham Smythe could work the middle of the field and have a decent ball game. And right now, he's available in 99% of fantasy leagues. And the third and final tight end I have as a sleeper this week here is Noah Gray of the Kansas City Chiefs. And Noah Gray, obviously the backup tight end. We saw him get a lot of work in week 1 when Travis Kelce was out. But then the last couple weeks, he's been pretty quiet until week 4 at the Jets, a catch for 34 yards and a touchdown. So obviously, he's a deeper dive than any of these other options in Conklin and Smythe. He's available in 98% of fantasy leagues, but obviously, he's not the starting tight end for this Kansas City Chief team. But this Chief team, they need answers, and they got to find another guy who can catch the football consistently and make plays for this Chief team besides Travis Kelce. So right now, the receivers haven't done anything so far this season of note. When Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, Valdez-Scantling over there, and Rashee Rice. And right now, Noah Gray possibly could be that second option in the offense. It's just wide open over there in Kansas City for the second option in the passing game. I highly doubt it's going to be Noah Gray, but you never know. So right now, if you're really desperate at tight end, and tough sledding, no doubt about it this season at the position, I got Noah Gray as a sleeper option this week. So that's a few tight ends I have as sleepers here in week 5 of the fantasy football season.